Oh, yeah. All right, guys. What a fucking nightmare. I just now I went into AutoZone. I already have my vacuum line that I bought. I got, I think, 12 feet of it for $11. That's what I paid for the Dorman vacuum line. But I wasn't trying. No one had 3/8 heater hose. So I went into Advanced. In Advanced, the girl in Advanced was very helpful. She took me directly over to the Dorman help section. Same thing the other two places did to me. And I was like, oh, I was just giving her shit. I was like, oh, here we go, dragging me over to the Dorman section. She's like, well, just hold on a second. I'm just checking the diameter. Okay. So then she went back over to her front register and went back in the back, and then she brought out the wrong stuff in the wrong diameter, and I was like, no, that's okay. I already have some of the wrong stuff in the wrong diameter in my truck, which is what I'm talking about, having 12 feet of. We're gonna cram it in the cram holes. I said, but you can help me with this 3/8 heater line. She says, okay. And she takes my line and goes in the back. She said, how much do you need? And I said, well, I could use about 10 feet of it, but depending on how much it costs. I was like, let me just get 3 feet. Let me get 3 feet of it, because that's all I need for this project. I'd like to have a little extra. This story is not really going anywhere, but eventually it's going to. She comes out with a piece of 3 feet line, 3 foot line, 3/8, but it's not heater line, it's hydraulic line. And she goes, will this work? And I was like, well, yeah, why not? I'll use it. 3/8 hydraulic line for a heater hose. I don't care. It's an old truck, right? And she says, would you like to save 20%? And oh, here we go. Here we go. I said, no, I don't want to save 20%. She's like, oh, just give me your email. I was like, okay, what do you want to send to my email? She says, coupons. Okay. So she's like, so I give her my shit email address, because I don't want Advanced Auto, soliciting me on my real email. So she punches in my email. Of course, we have problems with that, because I already have an account, but it's not showing my actual name. And she's like, okay, Seth, what's your first name? And I was like, Seth. She goes, oh, okay. Because I just gave her my email address, which is Seth Stump, blah, 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 right? But she's like, okay, Seth, what's your first name? There's just too much. There's too much material for me to leave it just hanging there. That's why I got to make these videos. Too much material out there. So while she's bebopping around the computer, and I finally just told her, I was like, look, don't worry about the discount. I would rather just pay an extra $2 than to not have to stand here and interact with you anymore. And the guy next to me is like, what, you building a spaceship? And I was like, nah, man, I'm not building a spaceship. I'm building an F-150, apparently twice as exotic as a spaceship. So she's punching around the computer, and I noticed that she's trying to charge me $34 for this piece of 3-foot hose. And she's like, well, I can give you a veteran's discount. Are you a veteran? I said, yeah, I am. She's like, pop, 10% off. Now I'm paying, $31.25 or whatever for this piece. I said, this 3-foot piece of 3/8 line is $32 or whatever I just said. She's like, yes. So I'm not kidding you. It's like $30-some. And now, so I'm just like, listen, I just need to get out of here. You already cut the piece of hose off. Just let me buy your fucking $30 piece of hose. Excuse me. So I did, because I'm a retard, apparently, I guess. So I buy my $30 piece of 3-foot heater hose, which I'll show you eventually here. And unfortunately, the guy next to me hears that I'm a veteran, and he's like, hey, you ever think about joining the VFW? And I was like, no, I've never thought about it. I have thought about it, but I never really thought about it. So I bullshitted with him for a little bit while the girl's ringing me up. Then the guy from across the street at AutoZone comes in. He's also pissed off because they didn't have him. He's like, oh, you again? And I'm like, yeah, me again. This is just another customer. He's like, you get your hose? I said, yeah. He's like, all right. He's like, what'd that set you back, $10? I was like, no, you might want to guess 3 more times, man. He's like, what was it? I was like, $30. And he's like, holy shit. So now we're having a holy shit party in advance. The little girl behind the counters doesn't know what to think of all this. The VFW guy is still trying to get me to join the VFW. So I pay my shit, and I gotta get out of there, man. So I just spent $40. $40, guys. For 10 feet of vacuum line and 3 feet of fucking heater hose. Because I'm a fucking idiot. I tried. I went to 3 different stores to not get fucked. Just to get fucked. So anyway, I gotta get a name tag that just says fucked. The VFW guy, I walked past him walking out and I felt bad. I was like, hey, VFW guy, tell me about your thing. He's like, well, we're VFW 3296, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you're downtown here? He's like, yeah. He's like, we're always signing up new members. I'm like, all right, dude. I wouldn't mind. A little camaraderie, a little something, And then he's like, you know how to get there? I was like, well, are you the only VFW in town? He's like, yeah, but we got like 30 different chapters. I'm like, in town? He's like, no, just this one in town. I'm like, okay. He's like, go out here to do you know where so-and-so is? I said, no, I don't, man. I just moved here. He's like, well, go out to so-and-so and go through the red light and then go down to Hickam Road and then you go through 2 stoplights and take a right. And I was like, hey, you already lost me, bud. You're the only VFW in town. I will find you. Well, I got a membership out in the car. I can sign you up. Nope, no. When do you meet? Every other second Monday of the month. All right, bud. What time? Well, from 6 to 7, we have dinner. And then from 7 to 8, we have our meeting. And blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, dude. I may see you there. I don't know why I would do that. I don't know why I would do that, but I might do that. So that's my story. An hour trip to go get 2 pieces of hose. The moral of this story is the world's fucked, especially you and me, and it's going to cost you every penny you have. So don't fix your cars. Just as soon as the tires go bald on it, just light it on fire and buy a new one, because everything's a racket. Everything in this world is a fucking racket. Okay, so part of the reason why I drove downtown to do this was because I was just gonna Amazon vacuum line, and I was gonna get 100 feet of it for $40, and I was gonna Amazon 3/8 heater hose, and I was gonna get 50 feet of it for $12 from Thailand, from the same fucking vendor that makes the hose that you just bought, that they wrapped up in a little spiral and cut it into 10-foot lengths and labeled it Dorman. I'm gonna get some Huawei or whatever the fuck it is heater hose from the vendor directly, rather than trying to support local business. And by the way, if you're buying your shit from Advanced and from AutoZone and from O'Reilly's, you're not supporting local business. You're just pumping money out of the community again. But so I'm gonna, from now, I guess I'm literally gonna just, when I need auto parts, I'm only gonna order them online from now on. I can't deal with this. And I'm going to wait 2 days for it to be delivered right to my door. Just every project is going to have an extra 2 days built onto it. Because I actually don't need this truck running. It's just a project. And I don't want to be angry or frustrated working on projects for the funsies of it, right? So, yeah. That's my little heater hose story. Just smile. I think what I'm going to do from now on when I go into an establishment is I'm just going to pull my pants down and spread my ass cheeks and walk in the door backwards and just be like, hey, I'm an asshole and I'm here. Would you like to get the best of me? That's how I'm going to enter stores from now on. I don't know if you can get arrested for that, but I don't know. Somebody's got to make a stand, you know?